Hello everybody, this is a pretty steady as she goes win, and it really relied on using my top's map priority. Mordekaiser ends up dominating top lane, and I use that to my advantage as much as possible. Bottom side ends up kind of feeding a little bit, so I kind of ignore it for the most part, not to feed Tristana too much, and my initial jungle clear kind of gets all jumbled up. So I have to focus on farming, and then kind of being very, very aware of the kind of state of the map and who's backing, whose ultimate's been used, and where my top laner is on priority. And so I hope you enjoy this one. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me as a new channel. And I'm trying to give a different perspective from AP Shaco Jungle. And so I really appreciate any support. Thank you very much, and we'll get into it. This gank here at the top lane wasn't anything special, but we got Uter's Flash, and Mordekaiser ends up killing him 1v1 later on. Something small like this is so key because Mordekaiser ends up carrying the game for a large part of this. So something small is just a flash, but it creates lane dominance and really affects the long term of the game. From here, I just go back to farming top to bot. I got pulled in really big different directions on this clear. I had helped top previously, so I was already delayed. As I started to kill blue, I saw bot lane was in trouble. Even though Diana showed, I was trying to prevent them from dying, and of course that made me stop doing my blue right as it was about to die. Even used my smite on it, and it ended up being a complete disaster, and I ended up losing my jungle camps, almost dying myself, and bot lane got 2 kills. I clearly didn't have a lot of money at this point, so just went head back to my Krugs. And just tried to restart my top to bot farm. Now they actually have level 5 and a decent amount of gold. I back properly and restart the process. I do ping off my team to make sure they know that Diana's likely doing dragon, but we're not going to contest it because we're obviously kind of underpowered right now. And from here, just go right back into my top to bottom farm, try to get camps as soon as they spawn, and keep up my farm. My top lane is winning pretty hard, and I believe their mid lane had backed. So after we get my raptors, I knew we had a pretty good priority over grubs, and so that's where I wanted to go. It's really kind of going back to the fact of always make sure you're playing with your strongest lanes. And so because Mordekaiser is really strong, I want to get the grubs with him. And after this, it's straight back to farming, top to bot, whatever's available. And I eventually go back to buy an item. I think I also go down and get a clean pick off of Tristana. From here, I'm able to back and buy my first item, Ludens, and so I finally have at least a decent amount of a power spike to contest things a little better. From here, I quickly get my raptors that were up, but then I also head over to Dragon area to try and prepare as much as I can, get boxes down, clear out any wards I see, use these cryo orbs, and any blast cones that might be helpful to the other team. And sure enough, the bot lane was in a bit of a skirmish. I'm able to save my mid lane from dying, and I get a free pick off of Tristana as well. with Tristana dead, and I believe Diana had used everything to try and kill Azure, you know, I felt like I was in a good position to actually take Dragon. And so I had a couple of boxes down to prevent any type of engage, and it was a pretty clean Dragon.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Here I sent my clone in for a clone tower dive, and I don't think it actually did much, but it pushed them and zoned them towards the AD carry and support, and from there they were able to pick off who they needed to get the kills. Mordekaiser had complete priority top lane. I'm able to get some boxes down, and this has turned into another free Rift Herald just from map positioning awareness of the team. Thank you, Thresh, for the shield save. Very much appreciate that. And since Shaco doesn't take pretty much any damage in the jungle, I can just go back top to bot farm. And we have so much priority on the map, I don't have to worry about Diana invading really at all. with dragon spawning, this is a really common tactic. We have a dominant top lane, so I'm going to send Rift Herald top from the spawn point and then head to dragon. And so while we do dragon, the idea is that top lane pushes with Rift Herald, and it causes a huge amount of pressure against the enemy team. One of Shaco's biggest problems is closing out those games, especially as AP Shaco. You don't have a lot of split push power, and because you kind of are reliant to push away with your box, sometimes prioritizing Rift Herald to push those towers and get 1 or 2 towers with that Rift Herald is a really good idea for your kind of overall macro of your gameplay. And so right as we're killing the dragon is when Mordekaiser picks up the Rift Herald, sends it in to take out the last base turret for the top side, and we're able to push mid in as well.
These waters will churn with agony.
Here's a a small mistake for me. I should have ulted and checked the brush, and because I didn't, I ended up dying for it. I could have also flashed and queued out a different direction, which would have been obviously kept me alive, but overall, there was no reason at this stage of the game not to just pop my ult and just send it in to check for enemies hiding in the brush. Lucky for me, that's pretty much the end of the game. My team did really well, and we're able to basically close it out even while I'm dead, and end the game. When you get to these situations where you're pushing into their base, you're trying to finish off the last towers, they keep clearing waves, you really want to try and put your boxes in places that minions aren't going to hit. And that can kind of be in those hex gate locations, or the side gates that the enemy team can walk through. Any of those are perfect spots to kind of camp around and give your team a sense of safety zones of where they can kite back to. Because sometimes these fights get extended, you can honestly lose them, and then the team can reverse sweep your base. And so trying to make sure you have boxes in a good spot to be able to kite back to for your team is really key. So you can see I'm not taking many risks myself. I don't want to get in there and die. I just want to continue laying boxes and be a strength for my team for crowd control and damage. And that's the win on this one. Kind of steady as you go. Play with your strong laners. Use map priority and kind of go from there. Remember to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it as a small channel. And I hope to see you next one.
Red team has scored an ace.